Hey guys, my name is Suede, and today I'm going to be commenting over a speed run that I did recently. So, if you guys have been following my channel, you know that we've been trying to bring life back into Civ 3 speedrunning because the categories that were being run were some really dumb stuff where you would edit the turn limit to be only one turn and just hit an end turn as soon as possible. That's not fun at all. So, what we thought we would do is introduce a default rules category where you just play Civ 3 like a normal human being with default rules. Yeah, standard size maps and maximum number of civs or default number of civs. Yeah, aside from that, there's a full list of the rules of this category in the description. But yeah, a few people have been running it. They've been getting 2 hour times around there. So I thought I'd try some competition. Yeah, we're thinking of doing this for different difficulties and maybe eventually different victory conditions too. But we're starting with Emperor. So I'm going to be speedrunning this game of Emperor. Yeah, so it's an 80% water archipelago map. I believe it's cold and dry. 3 billion years old. Yes, yeah, that's about it. Okay, so here we are. My strategy, do I already have the Colossus? Oh my god, I went so fast I already have the Colossus. Yeah, so my secret tech for this run was to play Persia. We'll see why in a few or during this run, I guess. The first thing was, in an 80% water archipelago, you're almost guaranteed to spawn on the coast. And you start with bronze working, so you could do Colossus just immediately. And the Colossus is important for a few reasons. We'll see why. But mostly, tourist gold stacking, just gold stacking in your capital, is very, very powerful in a speedrun like this. So we'll see that pay off over the course of the run. Okay, notice that my island is just complete garbage trash aside from my capital and my second city. That's just how things are. And yeah, this is my first actual... I did some generations. I think I got maybe 7 minutes into a game. But this is my first time actually playing through a speedrun game to the end with this new category. So everything's fresh to me. I had some ideas of how it might work. Yeah, but during this video, I will comment on what worked and what didn't, and how I can improve my time in a future run. Yeah, the Colossus thing definitely worked. I was very happy with that. Interesting, by picking Persia, a lot of people have been picking Byzantines. I saw Rabdag picking the Dutch. Get some God RNG with that Kurag on the right there. It didn't really do much, though. And my capital, I probably could have just switched to pyramids at this point. But I think I forgot it was an option. Ah, yes. So if I do this same strategy for another run, one thing I'll do, I chose civs to play against, and I chose ones that didn't start with alphabet, just so I'd be able to win philosophy. But I think I would also start against civ that don't start with masonry. That way I can guarantee to be able to trade masonry or alphabet once I tech alphabet. But yeah, it's just because I didn't pick a seafaring civ, I did have some issues in some of my early runs with just not being able to con anyone, depending on how the map is laid out. So here it's fine. You're going to see I'm going to get contact with enough civs that it won't be an issue. But on some maps, it's just without suiciding a few times, you just cannot meet anyone. And that's too rough. You can fall behind in tech that way. Again, this is Emperor difficulty. Yeah, so I was a little concerned with this island. I thought it was too small, but I decided to play things through, see where it went. I thought maybe I could do some boating around, but I definitely thought I needed Great Lighthouse. Yeah, I can't remember why I thought this, but it was definitely on my mind. I need Great Lighthouse here. So yeah, I'm doing trading. I'm doing trading pretty quick, but I am trying to optimize gold, optimize techs. Again, this is real speed, so there's going to be too much happening for me to comment on absolutely all of it. Trying to ward against barbarians there. Both of these boats survive. I got pretty good RNG with the boats here, and I meet the Mongols. And at this point, I'm doing pyramids in my capital. Yeah, so again, trying to stack wonders. We'll see if I can get the pyramids. Okay, yeah, I explored the island. It's pretty garbage aside for the two cities that I mentioned, but I'm just cranking out the settlers. I don't want the AI to be planting there. Here, could have just hit accept. Decided to spend a few seconds to possibly deny that tech from the Zulu, but whatever. Okay, that's a worker city right there if I ever saw one. Because right, as soon as it gets to size 2, the growth gets cut in half because it doesn't have any other 2 food tiles. I'm just automating the workers. This is the only time you'll see me do this. But yeah, it is faster. So we're going for speed here. And yeah, this is a standard size Emperor map, and we're going to be playing through this in as fast as possible. So this could be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. We're going to see what it's going to be, but probably much faster than you're used to seeing, even from when I play. So a mark, typically what the way speedrun categories develop is they at first start with like a very well done professional, like a pro, not literal pro, but like a very good player just playing the game normally as fast as possible. And I think I've already started to deviate from that because this is not really how I'd be playing Civ 3. There's a lot of things skipping, obviously, but I just don't settle things. I didn't prioritize. Like I tried for that island, but I like didn't have much land, and I didn't really care. It was odd, but a lot of the strats here are things you'd see in a single player game, like the trading strats I'm using. Uh, Definitely not unique to the speedrun. Okay, so I do win philosophy. I'm scientific. One of the reasons I wanted scientific is because there's a chance of a scientific great leader. So there's some RNG in this run, but it's not too bad if you don't get it. Speaking of RNG, I guess this is Emperor, so like the bonus against barbs is not bad. Okay, so using some, you're gonna see a lot of me using a lot of hotkeys here. So Shift right click in the treat screen will go like edit the amount of gold that you're putting in. Very useful trick there. Meet the Incans. I have a lot of text to offer them. They have a lot of text to offer me. I think I didn't want to give up map making because I wanted to get the Great Lighthouse. Yeah, that's why I don't get that second tech. So I go for Maz, switch off pyramids. I think the Russians beat me to. Oh no, I can still do pyramids. They're gonna beat me to it soon though. And now I did glib here. Sorry, Great Lighthouse. Okay, just a general strat for all games of Civ 3 is that typically one of the last texts the AI will get in the ancient era is literature, unless they get it from a HUD or something. Sometimes they wait till like a third of the way through the medieval era before they get that. So uh, typically, if you're trying to stack a bunch of wonders or you're going for a one city culture victory, which was my intention here, you want to do the other wonders first because they will beat you to Great Lighthouse and Maz. Uh, Great Lighthouse is a little interesting because it needs to be built in a coastal city. So on some maps, actually, they build it quite late. On some maps, they build it quite early. It just depends. Okay, no ivory here. I actually don't have any Lux at all. In a lot of ways, this is a really bad island, but in a weird way, this is actually a really good island too. So the reason for that is if we had an island with twice as many cities, we would have twice as many cities to micromanage, twice as many pop-ups for civil disorders if we make mistakes like that, twice as many pop-ups for border expands, twice as many cities for the AI to land, things like that. And the consequence of that would be, or sorry, the benefit of that would be able to tech significantly faster, and just play significantly faster. But it actually didn't really matter here. Like this is a winning game. It doesn't look like a. I didn't think it was a winning game. I thought I was just playing just to get experience with the speedrun. I thought I wasn't gonna get. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get the Great Library, and when I did get the Great Library, because I thought I was risking it to get the Great Lighthouse and then the Great Library. But as soon as I did get the Great Library, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna run out of steam, right? Like they're just gonna out tech me as soon as the Great Library expires. But that's you're gonna see. I guess you're just gonna have to see. Okay, filling out the island here. One thing I should have done early was like there are like little city spots I could have planted to like maximize the number of sea tiles I get. It turns out like you don't really need production for this run. In your capital, yes, but not anywhere else really. We can just like buy buildings if we really need them with our gold from from the Great Library and from trading. Like that's why we play 80% water maps to monopolize trade. By getting the Great Lighthouse, we actually monopolize trade even more because if someone else gets the Great Lighthouse, then they can go on sea tiles and they can meet the other civs and they'll have a bunch of trading partners. Here, there's no other trading partners, so we are monopolizing trade unless people the civ spawned with another ally or very near another enemy civ. Okay, you get that extra movement. Seriously, just given to any threats, typically. So here I make a mistake, because I had the idea that I wanted to build Immortals for a few different reasons, and I wanted to upgrade Immortals, because I'm sitting on 700 gold. And I'm about to do Great Lighthouse, so it's not like I'm going to be teching a lot. But despite that, I hooked the iron too early because all my workers were on automate. You can see this was not really a focus like my worker moves. They seem to be going pretty well, except for the fact I hooked two irons already. So if I want to build warriors and do an upgrade play into immortals, I need to disconnect two irons. We're going to see when that happens. So yeah, I'm going for these island cities. This was a mistake. So next run, when I'm going to do this, I'm not going to go for these island cities. I was fine in terms of tech without these island cities. I thought I just needed the commerce, but that was not the case. So I would say if you're planning on doing this run yourself, do not go for island cities unless you can 100% wall them off. If you think, oh, I can wall this one off, and then the AI plants like a second city on that island, just abandon your city. It's not worth it anymore. Okay, again, we're seeing that these cities are absolute ass, and it's hard to like queue up buildings, but we do want warriors. We want a few things. Here I can get construction. I'm gonna get everything with Great Library in the end. So the trade deals aren't actually that important. And I think maybe in retrospect, I could have done something where I like skipped Moz, and then I would just not need to worry about whether I got the Great Library or not. I would just have it. On some maps, in some cases, I could see it being a little bit dicey here, especially if like they threaten literature out of you. But here, sorry, if I skip Moz, it wouldn't have been an issue. Moz is nice. It gives tourism gold. It also gives happiness in your wonder stacking city, which often your wonder stacking city will have more unhappiness than the others because it gets to like size 17. I actually didn't have a freshwater in my cap here. I thought that would be an issue. Uh, but it turned out, it's not great, but it turned out to be workable. Anyway, but if you do have freshwater and you grow to like a size whatever city, 5 billion pop city, then you'll have happiness issues in your cap and not in other cities. And it's really inefficient to use the happiness slider because the happiness slider is like one uniform rate across your empire. So in that case, the mausoleum is quite beneficial. Here, not so much, but maybe in the future, once I get the aqueduct and I grow my city. But the catch was that because I had, I think with just like, sorry, no, my capital, uh, it clearly is benefiting from the happiness because it was about to disorder, or is just barely not disordering right now. Anyway, yeah, so what I was thinking was like just use the happiness from, sorry, you get commerce from the Colossus. So if you're running the happiness slider, um, then you would actually be fine for happiness. Jesus. And then now the city's gonna starve. Oh my god. Uh, yeah, I don't want to get landed on that iron tile because they'll have my city completely forked. This is actually kind of dangerous right now if I get attacked, but it's still pretty early in the game, so I'm taking risks. Anyway, yeah, I think I could try a strat where I run the happiness slider a bit, and I do not go for Moz. That way I can guarantee Great Library, and if I guarantee Great Library, what that means is I have lost my train of thought. I'll get there. Anyway, we're doing the Immortals now. We're stacking Warriors to upgrade to Immortals. Oh yeah, sorry. If I'm guaranteed Great Library, I don't need to worry about all these trades. Like I was trading for construction, I was trading for currency. I can just turn my tech off after I finish literature, and just not worry about that stuff in that case. Scientific, I'm seeing a lot of benefits to playing as a scientific civ. I'm getting landed here, Russia. Oh my god, pain in the ass. But what can you do? One of the reasons I'm bringing Immortals to this island is if I get into a fight. I was actually thinking of taking Tabriz, I think. I was really set on this island for some reason, but I also wanted the Golden Age to finish Great Library a little quicker. So that's something I could delay if I, again, skip Maz and go for the quicker Great Library. But yeah, so being a scientific civ, you get a free techs on each era. This is a really big benefit. I here actually got like not good techs at all in a lot of ways, but it was still beneficial. So yeah, all three of the benefits of being scientific, plus starting with bronze working, so four benefits are useful in this run. I think scientific is definitely the way to go. I could see religious being useful. I could see seafaring being useful. Industrious. Yeah. I'm wondering if there's anything else. I guess agricultural in theory. Samaria is a good civ because of their UU actually. So the reason I was set on the Immortal was because I figured that The AI does not attack you if you have a strong army, and the way it measures strength is using a particular formula. So it doesn't care about movement. It doesn't really care about. I don't think it cares about bombard at all. Um, it cares about raw attack and defense stats, especially attack. So the Immortal is actually the most cost-efficient unit in terms of warding off. I actually continue to accidentally rehook my iron because I have automated workers on. Yeah, so the Immortal is the most cost-efficient unit in terms of avoiding AI attacks, like making them think you have a strong army. So that was my logic for playing as Persia. You can also do upgrade strats to get them. Samaria is also good for that too. Samaria, the Enkidu warriors actually, it's not as strong on attack as Mortal, obviously, but it's extremely cost efficient. So Samaria is also good for warding off attacks. But my reasoning was I kind of wanted to switch Republic pretty early. Just give them the tech. If you're running this, please just give them the tech. Yeah, I wanted to switch Republic early, and if you switch to Republic early, what that means is you don't want unit support. Actually, I'm paying like when I switch in, I pay like I think 44 unit support per turn. Yeah, I think I lose 2 cities, 3 cities in the long run. So if I just didn't plant those cities, it would have had the same effect. I wasted probably at least 4 minutes, I'd say, micromanaging those cities, building the settlers, all that. That could have been, and also the resources, right? I took my Golden Age. I'm in my Golden Age right now, just from the Immortal. It did guarantee me. Again, I have the Great Library. Just give it to her. Who cares? It did guarantee me a Great Library. I think I was like 7 turns away or something when I built it. And now I can't actually switch into Republic because I'm in a Golden Age. I mean, I could, but it's wasteful. So yeah, I think my reasoning was I wanted. Well, that was actually one of the reasons I played Persia because I thought I'd have more control over the Golden Age relative to Biz. Because Biz, if you do Colossus, that is a seafaring wonder. Then if you do any scientific wonder, so glib or Maz, instantly you have a GA. You don't have any choice. That's not the worst time to get a GA because it guarantees you those ancient era wonders. But I didn't like being locked in like that. I thought because it was my first playthrough, I wanted to have the choice. I think I could have picked a little better than this. I think it was okay. Um, but ideally, I think I could have gone away with a Republic Golden Age here. Okay, solving the wars. I think I fight 3 different wars: Russia, Mongols, and you're going to see one more if it's not already declared. Trying for hanging gardens. No, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm trading for Lux at this point, but if I can, I should be. Yeah, I'm stocking up on the culture buildings here, because as far as I know, this is a one-city culture playthrough. But spoilers, turns out that is not the optimal victory condition to go through. I wasn't sure. So when we proposed this category, I thought I'd keep my options open, go deep in the directory, play fast, using wonder stacking, and then I would have, as a potential win condition, I would have one city culture. Even if I get overtaken by the AI at the end, as long as I have like a lot of wonders stacked in my cap, if I could just weather the storm long enough, I would eventually win that one city culture victory. That was the idea. By weather the storm, I mean hit end turn with outposts on all my tiles. But you do what you gotta do. So at this point, I'm giving him these texts so he gets next era. I think I wanted feudalism so I could do sorry, the wonder. Sun Tzu's out of war. But he gets engineering, whatever. At least it doesn't devalue my tech. I trade for it. I probably didn't need to trade for it. But Ottomans actually become a trade partner for me. They give me a bunch of gold, and maybe part of that was because I caught them up. So while all this has been happening, I've been contacting these other civs. I actually have contact with all the useful civs at this point. There's one more civ, which is the Arabs. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought I actually went Golden Age, Anarchy in Golden Age, but I guess I waited for it to end. But yeah, I think my reasoning was, fuck it, I can't build a wonder right now. I might as well use this as an opportunity to switch. Because my nation is so small, it's actually quicker anarchy, interestingly enough. Your anarchy length is based on the size of your empire. So if you're a small empire, it's 2 to 6 turns. I might be small, it might be 3 to 7 for me. If you're a big empire, it is 4 to 8. It can actually be as much as like 5 to 9, or maybe 6 to 10 even. But you need some weird map settings for that to be the case. Okay, we go Republic, of course. Okay, probably should not leave that building Spearman, but whatever. So at this point, I'm not teching, and I'm actually earning 0 gold per turn. Uh, Kind of hilarious. You see me start to disband stuff because I'm worried about money. At this point, I'm really starting to doubt the build. It's like, okay, when the glib expires, I just cannot tech. Is that not the case? But I play on. Here it is. It doesn't make any sense to me. I guess I'm scaling in the sense that I have all these ancient era wonders. I get that now too. The Colossus is obviously good for commerce. As my city grows, I can like join workers to my cap. You'll see me do that in a sec here. Again, just given. But also, like, you get tourism gold, and that multiplies kind of exponentially depending on how early you get it. Not quite exponentially, but multiplicatively. So like, I built the Colossus actually so early, like 2300 BC or something like that, that by the time I get to 0 BC, which I'm at by now, I'm actually getting 14 gold per turn, plus the multipliers from that, just from the Colossus's tourism gold alone. Not to mention the gold itself from the tiles. So very strong wonder. And you can see that really played into my strat here. So yeah, and the same thing will happen with the tourism gold from Moz and from Great Library. It'll take a little bit longer because it's based on the years, not on the turn number, and the years actually slow down as the game progresses. Like the first turn is 40 years. At this point, it's probably maybe 10. But it will continue to scale. I will get more commerce off that. So maybe that has to do with it, but you'll see that I didn't really. Sorry, I think I lowered the happiness slider too. Before I was getting 0 gold per turn when I was not teching, and look at that RNG. Now I'm getting 38 gold per turn. Again, useless micro. Maybe it was even more than 4 minutes. Um, One thing about this game is the auto explore on the galleys really sucks. If you don't have the Great Lighthouse, especially if you have low movement points, because it won't path through enemy land. Um, I don't think I even manually explored the Ottomans. I think it just did it for me with auto explore. So the Great Lighthouse, its benefits are weird, but I think there are actually a lot of them. Obviously, it gives tourism gold too. Yeah, that's actually where I can trade luxuries. And if you get the luxuries early, like especially like an 80% water map, islands might only have like 2 or 3 sources of luxuries. So it might be the case that if you don't get them immediately, just some other civ will take the luxury and like continue to renew the trade, and you can't even get in on that deal. So Great Lighthouse, because it allows sea trade, it allows you to monopolize those luxuries early. Uh, you can trade tech for them. You can just buy the luxuries. Typically, buying luxuries is pretty expensive. I still do it sometimes in normal game playthroughs. But here it's cheap because luxuries, the price depends on the number of cities you have, and we have no cities. We have very few cities. Okay, at this point, I'm finally starting to build workers to start outposting the island. If you guys don't know, this is a common exploit that the AI cannot land units. Nobody actually can land units on an outpost. Um, so if you just, unless they have amphibious assault, which there's no Vikings here, they don't. So unless, um, so yeah, if you cover your whole island in outposts, the AI cannot land you at all. And you might think, well, why couldn't we just use units? Yes, you can, absolutely you can. Great deal right there. Helps me a ton in terms of my economy. We could just use units to guard all our tiles, but if you use outposts, you don't pay maintenance because they're not units. Units you pay maintenance on. Outposts, they are not units. You do not pay maintenance. And they consume the worker when built. So expensive, but especially on small islands like this, we can just ward off attacks completely. Now, at this point, we have all the upgraded immortals. I think this is why we don't get declared war on. Okay, you'd have to... I don't know exactly when was the time that I got declared war on by the Incans. Maybe it was after the mass upgrade, but I think no. Um, so yeah, there's this period in the middle here where we could be attacked. Like we're not walled off at all yet, um, but they don't attack us, and I think the Immortals have something to do with that. They're also fighting each other, which is nice. So one thing I would do, I consider that one. That one I actually had to think about, but I just give it. One thing I would definitely do differently would be in Passagarde, build a granary at the start of the game. So if I could just have been pumping out workers there, because it's the cow city with the extra food, I think that would have been really, really beneficial. Like you see this, like even when I get to railroads, like I want to build workers to prepare for having railroads, but there's not a fast way to do it because like all these cities, they have low surplus food aside from Passagarde. But I want to have high pop in these cities because they have a lot of commerce if they're using the coastal tiles. But if there's only two surplus food, they grow very slowly. So I can join workers. That's what I'm doing in my cap. But there's nothing else I can really do in those other cities. But if I had a city like Passagarde with a granary in it, then I could have been stacking up workers there and then joining them to the secondary cities. So I go all this way, all this in micro, just to meet the Arabs, and they have fuck all. That's what you get, I guess. It could have been someone useful. But yeah, I didn't realize this at the time, but the distribution of the enemies, I was a little worried about the Incans, and it was an issue. But the Zulu completely conquered the Mongols, so they have the island to themselves, but it's not a huge island. Russia have an island to themselves. Egypt have an island to themselves, and then the Incans have a big island to themselves. And I think I get some deals in with the Ottomans too. So what all this means is that they all like produce a lot of gold, and I can take their gold in trade deals. So whether they're ahead or behind, if they're behind, I can do trade deals. If they're ahead, I can trade with them. Although that window is pretty narrow. Okay, so you're going to see this is going to be a common theme in the second half of this speedrun. That right now, I'm doing several deals for different luxuries. If I didn't stagger them, if I did them all at once, it would have saved me not a ton of time, but quite a bit of time. Because I was having to like stop my turn spamming just to renegotiate these deals. Like even that iron one with Russia, I did that for pretty much the whole game. But like they would have like less gold per turn. So I would need to renegotiate it pretty much every time. Maybe I shouldn't have taken any gold per turn at all. But again, at this point, I don't think this is a good game for me. I think I'm still fucked as soon as I get out of the Great Library era of the game. So I think I need all the gold I can get. That's my read on the situation. Turns out I didn't, though. You'll see. Okay, good. Okay, so Great Library. I actually got gunpowder too, so this was good. But it's good I paid attention here. I just beelined straight. Wonderful. Beeline straight for astronomy. So I have all this tourism gold from these ancient era wonders, and multipliers applies to that tourism gold. So if you have a library and you're full teching, you get 50% more tourism gold based from that library. So if you get these multiplier wonders, the Copernicus's observatory and Newton's university, then you actually it's brutal right there. One turn off of Leo's, whatever. Just play. It'll happen. Just play the game. No rage quits. In the end, it's like not even a high culture wonder. But like I said, I didn't end up going for one city culture here. You'll see how it ends up. Okay, so I timed this perfectly with the pre-build. I'm really concerned about this wonder because it literally it doubles the base tourism gold. So the 14 gold I mentioned from Colossus just doubled. At this point, maybe 10 gold from Great Library, or sorry, 8 gold from Great Library, 10 gold from Great Lighthouse, doubled. And then that's on top of all the gold that the city itself actually gets from the tiles and from the Colossus's tile bonus and Republic's tile bonus. capital is just stacking culture all over the place. Okay, so here I switched to Copernicus's, but then I realized, wait, I'm gonna go for Newton's. I'm gonna see if I can get chemistry. So at this point, I'm starting to pay more attention to trade for the next few turns. Checking everybody, do they have chemistry? Do they have chemistry? That's a lot of gold. I'm considering taking it, but I don't want them to get Copernicus's. One thing I'd consider in other games that was not an option here, they went for Sistine Chapel very early before I could get it from the Great Library, and I don't think it's worth it to just tech the tech. But Sistine Chapel could be very good because it allows you to have enough happiness to keep your people happy without relying on trades. Trades are very good, they're very efficient. I love them for Civ 3, for competitive games, but in a speed run, you have to renegotiate the trades for these luxuries. So if I could just like build cathedrals in all these cities instead, or even buy the cathedral, that would be ideal. I think if I got a scientific great leader in a future playthrough, I might even save it for Sistine Chapel. Okay, there it is, chemistry. I get the gold, and I get the tech. That's exactly what I want. 8 turns off of Copernicus's, but nobody else has a pre-build. Like, Leo's was already done, Sistine Chapel was already done. They don't have music theory. So I've started this wonder. I'm like 5 turns into this wonder, or 6 or 7 turns into this wonder. They are 0 turns into the wonder. Maybe if they switch off something else, they'll be a couple turns in. And it's Emperor, so the AI bonus is not that bad, and my land is very good. So I'm pretty confident that I'll get it here. And yeah, my goal is to tech physics as fast as possible. Again, Newton's University, it's the other doubler. Just give them the tech. Fuck it. Definitely the Incans I wouldn't want to war with right now. Still only half done with my island. Outposting it off. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the category. I think we're still at the point where we could talk about maybe changing the rules, but definitely like focusing on different categories. This is the random seed category. You saw me generating some starts at the beginning. And as soon as I generate the one I want, I have to play it. So I don't get time to think. I don't get time to retire the map and memorize where all the islands are and all the civs are. I just have to play it blind. Yeah, so the other option was fixed seed, but I think I'm realizing that fixed seed probably wouldn't be that good. With the RNG from scientific great leaders, especially, and military great leaders potentially with some runs, that if the seed is fixed and everybody's playing optimally and everybody knows where all the other civs are, there's not a ton of like big RNG moments like that aside from the scientific great leader. So I think if you're doing fixed seed, at least a lot of the fixed seed categories would come down to do you get a scientific great leader or not. So yeah, I think random seed is the best. But if we're not doing fixed seed, if we're only doing random seed, well, what that means is maybe we can do some other categories instead. So maybe some particular victory conditions or map types. That's what I'm thinking. Some people have suggested some meme stuff like One City Challenge, and that stuff's interesting, but I'd like to get like some core competitive Civ 3 categories down before we move into the memes. I'm kind of floundering with I don't know what I'm doing with my worker micro here. Yeah, and the other thing with if you mess up the trade for the luxuries, like it's unstable. Like if for whatever reason you want to delay the trade, that fucks you. It doesn't really completely fuck you, but it means that your cities will change in happiness. So if you don't have enough happiness, then you'll disorder, which is obviously quite bad. But if you have too much happiness, you actually get Wheel of the King Day. So if you just like, I lost this trade deal and I can't get it back for these lux, but I'm just going to crank up the luxury slider. Well, maybe you'll gain Wheel of the King Day, or maybe you'll lose Wheel of the King Day in certain cities, depending on like the ratio of whatever the lux versus the happiness slider. So what that means is like it's unstable, like exactly. Even if you have enough happiness to have no disorder, it's still unstable amount of happiness you have. And instability will cause. What will it cause? It will cause the Wheel of the King Day fluctuations. Like you get it when you didn't have it, or you lose it when you had it. Okay, at this point I realized I should just plant these little things. I'm like cities like Arbella are just cranking in gold. Gordium cranking in gold. I'm like, wait, I could just plant more of these cities. It's the one thing I can do quite easily here. Okay, I'm trading away physics, but none of them even. Uh, I don't want to lose Newtons, but it doesn't matter because I'm not actually selling theory of gravity. Yeah, but I think this category it really, really, really tests your ability in Civ 3. It's not just a click fest. You have to make decisions. You have to make a lot of decisions very, very quickly throughout the game. But I think maybe people might want to see a little bit more out of speedrunning in this game. So if there's any other suggestions, let us know in the comments. With this category, I'll run, and I'm looking forward to running maybe Demigod or Deity could be a lot of fun too. With Demigod or Deity, you can't like speed through this. You actually have to play the game. This was a joke we had in the Discord. Was that if you mess up, you find yourself playing Civ 3. It's not what you want. Like as soon as you're like microing units and boats, and like doing an invasion and like putting out culture flips, you've already lost. So notice the wonder's obsolete, but you actually do not lose the tourism gold. Stays with you for the whole game. Makes sense. It'd be kind of kind of outrageous if it didn't. So here I went straight for Newtons. So I was banking on trading for banking. Here I actually get metallurgy and banking. That's fine. Great, actually. Again, grabbing these Lux. I'd say the one benefit to like doing the staggered trade for Lux. This is probably not the best. It looks like he was half done physics. But the benefit to doing the staggered trades for Lux is it forced me to like routinely check what they had to offer in terms of like gold and text and stuff. And the Lux deals were pretty quick. Typically, it's just pick a tech that the Incans already have, trade that, or give my iron to the Russians. For the Incans, it was a little tricky. Typically, they're the tech leader in this game, but not always. At this point, I'm like, okay, the wall's almost done. I can just close this wall. It's worth it. And I think actually maybe I should. I think maybe the whole game I should have used units. That would have allowed me to build less workers and micro less workers for what that's worth. But if I have the units, like they're not going to get Marines in this game through a gameplay through. So if I have the units on hand, they might as well be on random tiles guarding its landings. Now, one thing I was worried about was I was playing so fast here. I've had it happen to just like in regular ass normal games that I leave a hole in my picket wall. And the enemy just slides on through. Like that actually completely ruined a Sid game as the Dutch I did on stream maybe 10 months ago or something like that. So that was on my mind here. So when I have some time, I do in this go through and check. At the start, I was just picketing whatever because I knew I wasn't going to have a full wall. I was just trying to get it started. But at this point, it's like I'm at the point where like I'm actually mostly picketed. Again, this is probably delayed. Like if I did the granary in my second city, I probably could have picketed maybe 500 years ago, and maybe I got lucky that nobody declared war. Like maybe I got exceptionally lucky that nobody declared war on me before then. Yeah, because wars mean putting out fires. Like I have the units on hand, the immortals. They're very good to have on hand. Um, but you still have to like at the very least like deal with them, deal with their units in your land, clean them up. You don't want to make peace before you get their units out of your land. That really sucks because then they're just stuck there. Yeah. One thing I wasn't even thinking about at all is nobody has economics and nobody has free artistry. So at this point, if I wanted to, I could have just done Shakespeare's theater or tech economics and just done Smith's trading company. Of the two, for culture, it's way better to do. Yeah, I'm doing rails at this point. I noticed the coal. I got fucking lucky here that I have iron and coal at home. Otherwise, I have to trade for it. probably would have been fine. If honestly, if I just had the rails in my whole cap, I wouldn't need the rails anywhere else. But it does help. No, it just helps production. It doesn't help the growth at all because I have no irrigation. Anyway, so Shakespeare's theater is good. Typically, it's great for it's 8 culture. It's great for one city culture victories. In theory, like it's not good to delay steam power, but it is a good option if you can get it. But here, it's not quite as good of an option because it causes pollution, and pollution it's an animation, so it slows down the game. Okay, I get medicines, my free tech. Like I said, I get bad luck on all my free techs. So monotheism wasn't great. Feudalism would have been fantastic. And here, steam power would have been phenomenal. With nationalism, I could have maybe done something where like I give a bunch of text to the Ottomans, and then trade because nationalism is highly valued by the AI. It's not. Sorry, it is not necessary for era advancement. So here, I obviously skip it. But you can trade it for a tech that is necessary for era advancement. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, medicine's good because you need it to finish out the tech tree. Delaying steam power by 4 turns or 5 turns or 6 turns doesn't matter much. So yeah, I'd say medicine's good. Steam power is good. Nationalism is usable, but you'd have to trade it away. Yeah, and at this point, again, I just straight up have a tech lead. I don't know what happened. That ended up pretty clean, honestly. I do an underrush here. Expand a unit. Probably could have. I was running a little gold, bit low on gold at this point, so I did the underrush. If I wanted to, I could have just bought the coal plant. Wasted some shields. Sorry, it's wasting about 45 shields or something. Maybe a little less. Maybe not worth the time. It's not like I'm going to lose any of these wonders. And if I do, it might not matter. So we'll see. Okay. While I'm watching this through, I'm noticing I'm paying a lot of. I should have just been faithful, or that I had this in the bag. But no, I kept expecting them to run away with the game, like someone to run away with the game. And Incans, they're cleaning stuff up. At least they planted or conquered a lot of islands. But yeah, they're all fighting wars against each other. But they're because it's islands, they're inconclusive wars. They can't kill each. It's very hard for the AI to kill each other on islands maps because the AI is just so comically bad at naval invasions. I say that having been quaking in my boots at the thought of an AI landing me for the first half of the game, but what can you do? Okay, again, still going for wonders here in cap. At this point, I guess I can spoil it. So, again, I thought I was going to use, like, I thought I might fall behind in tech, and that I would use the one city culture victory as a victory condition if I fall behind in tech. But that didn't happen. Or at least I'd be, like, tech parity. Like, often, like, you're behind in tech, but at the start of the era, like, they go for nationalism, they go for fascism, communism. Sometimes, if you're lucky, even espionage and ironclads. But if not that, then they'll typically do the corporation before they do scientific method. Maybe even sanitation they could do. There's a lot of techs they can get distracted with. So often you can, even if you're behind in tech, you can just sneak clean into theory of evolution. Um, so yeah, I thought maybe like if it was a situation like that, um, where like I can barely keep parity using some gimmicks like that, using a lot of trade, and then in the next era, just barely squeak by, maybe using a scientific great leader to get oh sorry, no, like none of that. Maybe to get one of the wonders in the next era. And then just like hold on for fucking dear life at the end of the game. Just turtle, build units and to try to make it to the one city culture victory. I thought that might have been the case. But that was not the case. I'm just very clearly plowing ahead in tech. If anything, they're falling further behind. So yeah, so what I just described, maybe if we run it on demigod, same thing that would have happened here. No, I could have actually stopped building wonders because I didn't need the one city culture victory because I can just do the UN. That's the thing that I'm very clearly ahead in tech. The UN is just like converting a tech lead to a victory if you have not fucked up your relations with everybody. And I haven't. I've been giving them everything they wanted. I've been trading with them 20-turn trade deals regularly, and I've declared 0 wars and raised 0 cities. Then that's not typical. Like if you watch me play, especially higher difficulty levels, I will fight because you need to fight to keep up an economy, to have a big empire to keep up an economy. But Emperor's Emperor, what can you say? I guess this is enough on Emperor. To clarify, this is a hard difficulty if you don't play Civ 3 regularly. I'd say most people never. Monarch is the one where after Monarch. Yeah, sorry, Emperor is the first very difficult difficulty. Yeah, most people never go above Regent or Monarch. But this is a broken game, so there's a lot of exploits we can use. Here I just buy the spices. Fuck yeah. Seeing if I can get more gold. These are little things I can optimize next time. Just cancel the deal and ask him again to give me the same deal. I just say fuck it. Okay, so I'm going for stock exchanges here. The idea was I'd go for again, I'm still tunnel visioning at this point. Like I haven't considered that I'm going to go for diplomatic victory. I'm still tunnel visioning on that culture victory, and I'm like, huh. Well, if I do 5 stock exchanges, I can build Wall Street. Wall Street's not a bad wonder. It gives you 50 gold per turn, effectively, as long as you keep a minimum of 1,000 gold in your treasury. I don't know if I'd be prioritizing it above like the universities in some of these other cities though, because I have to like buy these banks and then buy these stock exchanges. Okay, this is the first scientific great leader of the game. It's kind of fucking trash. At this point, I'm like, wait, I can just use this to get the Hoover Dam, but then I realized, wait, I have no river. I can't do the Hoover Dam. So it gets Wall Street instead. In retrospect, I could have used this for um a next era wonder. So I could have just used it for UN, or if I get one of the other techs first, I could use it for like internet, not internet. I think at this point I really start to check, like, do I have my bases covered? Actually, now that I'm looking at it, is the tile southeast of Persepolis covered? I think there was a unit in there, but I moved it into the city to disband it. And they had this big Doom fleet, and then they just fucked off. This is actually hysterical now that I'm watching this back, but whatever. Okay, he offers me nationalism here, which actually slows me down. Typically, they'll just like offer you all the gold that they have on hand. So you can just be like, what will you give me for this? And they'll just give you all their gold. Because they want to give me nationalism, I have to manually find out how much gold they have. With the lump sum, it will tell you how much lump sum gold they have. With the per turn gold, it will not tell you that. Man, I'm fucking acing it with these. I don't know if I'm just feeling myself today, but I feel like I'm acing it with this commentary today. But lots to say. I think, yes, at this point I noticed that little hole. Dies, furs, again. You see this gets... at a certain point, like, I realized, okay, well, if I have to talk to the Zulu, I have to talk to Egypt, too. But again, like, this is forcing me to trade, and the trade is getting me gold. I don't know how much of this gold is needed and how much is superfluous. But certainly some of the gold was needed. Like, it would have slowed me down. I don't even know. Yeah, so I'm able to buy buildings. I don't think any of these buildings were super important though. Like buying universities is nice, but the very like in some of these like four pop cities, it's a very low return on investment. It's nice to have gold to mess around with, I guess. Yeah, you're seeing the pollution here. Again, there's a little pop-up, so it does delay you. Why am I trading? Oh, okay. So yeah, what I'm looking for is replaceable parts there. Yeah, that's why I opened the trade window. In retrospect, I should have done. I'm not sure if it would have let me, but I don't know what the order is like. Combustion, motorized transportation. I don't know which of those needs replaceable parts. Um, but I should have done whatever I could first before I do flight. Yeah, at this point I realized, oh shit, nobody built nobody built Shakespeare's theater. I could have actually rushed Shakespeare's theater here with that leader. I'm kind of kicking myself just a little. Not that it matters too much. It does give me a hospital. It gives me pollution. At this point, I have coal plants, so I already have pollution. Lots of gold. Fuck it. Yeah, like the issue with Shakespeare's theater is it puts you above 12 pop, and just metropolises will just produce pollution just automatically, regardless of what buildings are in there. So yeah, Shakespeare's theater would avoid that, or avoiding Shakespeare's theater would avoid that. But do I just now realize that I can do Shakespeare? I think I saw it out of the corner of my eye there, and I realized, wait, I can do Shakespeare's theater. Same thing with Smith's. Again, I should just yeah, quick. Yeah, I don't even ask for the gold that time. I'm learning. I'm learning. What can you say? Yeah, at this point, I see the Shakespeare's theater. I was like, wait, I can just do Shakespeare's theater. What's wrong with me? Um, like I don't blame myself for not thinking about that. But I do blame myself for like once I like traded for the tech, not going for Shakespeare's theater immediately. Okay, could have made a difference between me getting the wonder or not. It didn't. I'm just for doing. I flight and I'm doing Shakespeare's theater, and I still get the wonder, but it could have, I guess. But yeah, because this is my wonder stacking city, it is valuable for me to have like 15 pop if I can just join a bunch of workers there. Of course, it's nice. Sorry, I was saying about flight. Flight actually obsoletes the Colossus. Again, not the tourism gold, but the flat gold on each of your tiles, which again is filtered through all those multipliers from all those wonders I have. Sorry, specifically Newton's and Copernicus's, and then the library and the university. So again, flight is inevitable. You need it for your advancement. But if I could do any other techs first, like we'll see if I can check out the tech tree. Yeah, once I'm done replaceable parts. Yeah, okay. I think I didn't have an option there. Sorry, I guess I could have just done replaceable parts before flight, and that would have been better. But like I thought that I could trade flight for replaceable parts was the idea. Like that's what I did with chemistry. That's what I did with metallurgy, with banking. But by this point, like I said, my lead is expanding. Spam infantry here, just to uh, dissuade attacks. The one thing attacks would do they might fuck up my lucks. I think that was my concern. You're seeing this random stuff happen, like my luck steals run out, and then I just take hits like this. I need this. So this again, this is a mistake. I needed to go back. I think I got like a tech, not a good tech, like communism or something like that, in exchange. But I got communism when I could have just got a second luxury, and not having the second luxury, like I gotta raise the happiness ladder. I lose my harbor now. Oh my fucking god. Okay, I get the harbor back the same turn. I go for Smiths here. Again, same issue happened. Like I said with the Great Lighthouse, the Great Library, that sometimes they'll be like halfway down the medieval era and not have the Great Library. This can happen too. That they're halfway done the industrial era and they're not done Smiths or um, Shakespeare's University, Shakespeare's Theater. Damn, could you imagine taking a university class in iambic pentameter? I feel that'd be pretty fun. Oh, I just do have rubber here for what that's worth. Absolutely nothing. But, well, the reason I'm building infantry and cap was because they are like the same thing with immortals. They're just cost efficient unit for dissuading enemy attacks. Again, I don't get the best free tech here, but I think I actually get the second best one. Um, because I can use sorry, I can use SETI as a pre-build for one. Yeah, I think this is perfect actually. Yeah, so what I do is I waste 400 shields. I get the research lab. My thing was the research lab will actually speed up my tech too, right? And then I'll use SETI as the pre-build, and then it times pretty well. Yeah, again, turn up the tech. Oh, sorry, now that I'm seeing this, I think I might actually have unit. I have show movement enemy unit on, but not animate enemy movement. And not show ally movement. But the privateers count as enemy units. So yes, I would want to. I should actually turn that setting off for future runs. No, don't care. Didn't ask. Okay, you're seeing some of the cities here, like Antioch, Sidon, Bactria, Hamadan. We're getting to the end of the game, and they're not full pop. So if I had just had a worker pump early, I would have had more commerce. Again, I don't know how valuable that is. It's kind of hard to figure out, like, what are the, at least for the Emperor run here, what are the things that are really slowing me down? Like, what are the bigger skips I could do? Okay, at this point I'm embassying everybody. You might think, oh, isn't it bad luck you didn't get embassied early by them? It's good luck, actually, because if you have an embassy, then you see all of their declarations of war and all their peace deals and stuff like that, and we don't want that because that slows down the game. So yes, we just embassy everybody. I think when I did the little check around the map earlier, I was checking to see who would I be running against. I might be doing that here too, actually. And it's like 25% for Incans, and like the Zulu and the Russian aren't really quite close to them, so I'm like, okay, I'm just running against the Incans. I was a little worried I'd run against like a second candidate, but I didn't have time to check the requirements. And I couldn't even see their land area and their percentage of population. I could have technically like had everybody declare war on two civs. Sorry, everybody except those two civs declare war on everybody. I think it would be the Zulu and the Incans, but I decided to just go with the Incans. It is technically possible. Sorry, not technically possible, but I was worried that there'd be a third candidate. It would be the Zulu, and that people would vote for the Zulu instead of me, and I would lose the game here. But you know this is a win. I wouldn't be posted if it wasn't a win. And here it is. So at this very moment, fucking palace screen, I have, if you check the city itself, I have about 11,000 culture. I was like 100 turns away or something, like 85 culture per turn. I was 100 turns away from winning a culture victory. So for this category, I'm clearly saying, and this was like with 4 ancient era wonders. I was not missing these wonders. So yeah, I can clearly say that for this category, diplomatic victory is optimal. So if you want to race me, that's what you should be going for. Okay, this is what I ended up with in my cap. I think a bit few of these were not necessary, but still fun. Didn't slow me down too much. And if you, let's see it here. I've also learned that in-game time and the in-game timer and the external timer actually synced up perfectly when I checked them. So yes, the in-game timer, like there's no lag difference or anything like that. You can trust the AI timers for timing in Civ 3. Yeah, so I think that's what we will be using unless somebody can think of a reason not to use that. Like be it cheating or some inaccuracy. I hope we're not doing runs where it comes down to the millisecond, but I guess if that's the case, we'd need external timers. Okay, so we vote for Xerxes. Here it is, 58 minutes, 5 seconds. this is my time to beat. Emperor, default rules, Civ 3 speedrun. Show me what you got. Okay, that was it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. I hope to do some speedrunning runs for my streams sometime in the near future. Take care.